Welcome to Using Your Teacher Voice, episode 19. Today, I want to talk about access. So, I am hoping tomorrow to get my laptop back. I had to send it off. It had a bad battery, and I had to send it downtown to our district office to have them replace the battery and fix that. They also did some other work to it, I understand. Those of you that know me in real life, you're probably asking yourself two questions. One, John, how are you making it? Yeah, it's been a little different for me. You're probably also asking, like, seriously, John, another one? Well, yeah. I've had three. This is my third MacBook in 9 years. My first one, I had one of those white, um, little white MacBooks. I had it for a few years and just, a little underpowered. I had to upgrade. I got a MacBook Pro. I had it for 6 years, a little more than 6 years actually, and just wore it out. Used it all day, every day, um, several hours at a time. It was my primary computer. I replaced the hard drive a couple times on it, and like all technology, eventually it just gets old. The district, those were both brand new MacBooks. But when I went to the district and said, hey, this is what's going on, probably need to replace it. And they're like, well, we don't really have any money for a new one. So they gave me someone else's. They had upgraded somebody else, so I got his old MacBook Pro, and it was good. I mean, it was newer than the one I had. It was still a couple years old, but it was newer than the one I had. It worked great, no problems, and it started acting up a little bit. I was afraid it was going to be another, hard drive. I was like, oh man, not another hard drive, but it actually was a battery. I was getting battery error messages. So I contacted downtown, our district IT department, and they're like, oh, yeah, we can fix that. And I sent it to them. And like I said, I've been without it for 2 weeks now. Um, it for me, it kind of validated a couple things for me. First off, I've been without a laptop for a while. I've had a laptop for probably about 18 years now. Most of my teaching career, I've had a laptop. So I'm very used to having that. It's very handy for me because of my chaotic lifestyle and the place I'm going and things that I'm doing. It's also awfully nice to have that portability. It fits well into my lifestyle. Um, and again, I do use it a lot, so everything it's more, it is a convenience factor, but really I think more than a convenience factor, it's just the way I work. So I've kind of become, used to it, and it's been a part of me. So anyway, I use my laptops, and I've had them for 18 years. But, it kind of validated some things that I've been doing, the way I back it up, once a week or so. I did a time machine backup on it once a week or so. Last year I moved to Google Drive. I've been using Google Drive exclusively now for, 18 months or so. And so, I didn't lose anything there. My emails have been backed up, so, I wasn't really losing anything there. I did. It did slow me down in a couple ways. One was just the, how to check my emails. I know that sounds silly. I could access my emails by going to the websites, but I've got several emails accounts, and I was using Outlook on my laptop to check them all. So it's really handy to have them all in one place, right? So, that slowed me down a little bit. It didn't stop me. It did slow me down a little bit. The one thing that without my laptop I couldn't do, and there was no workaround available for me, was working on my yearbook. I do the yearbook at our school, and on my laptop I had Adobe's Suite, Creative Suite 6, and it was really handy because I could, I do my pages at school, and then I could open them up at home and check them or read them or add to them or adjust them or whatever. So, that was kind of nice to have that, you know, portability, that access. Without my laptop, of course, I wasn't able to do that. I didn't have InDesign or Photoshop at home. So Adobe does have a cloud version. It's Creative Cloud. We do not have that subscription. It's a little out of our price range right now. So, we don't use that. My yearbook company does have an online design program, which we don't use because it's just a little more limited than having, InDesign. Um, I think now they're moving to a subscription through the company to Creative Cloud, which might be the next move for us. But, I just, the way That's a proprietary software, and basically that's a desktop software. So yeah, I just don't have access to that right now. But yeah, other than that, the laptop out of my hands, it was an inconvenience, but it didn't stop me. Other than the yearbook stuff, what it did was, though, it really made me start asking the question about access. So I did have a desktop at home. I do have a desktop at home. It's an older Mac, and I was able to do some work on it. And again, it was more of an inconvenience than anything. I used to sit there and watch the football games on Sunday and work on stuff, but now I don't really quite have that option, with the desktop. But the thing I noticed was really quickly was that I just couldn't get onto my computer when I wanted to get onto my computer. I had to share my computer. And with my laptop, I never had to share, right? I just pulled it out and did what I needed to. But, sharing the desktop, there were three of us that were using it. My 8-year-old daughter, she, might have do some research for her school work, homework or something like that. She did like to play like Math XL and ABC Mouse kind of things for some homework enrichment. We use those, and there were some just games too that she liked to play, Minecraft especially. But there were times that she wanted to be on the computer, and obviously, her homework, that's kind of important, so I get her on there. My wife, she is addicted to her Facebook, but she also refinishes furniture, and she sells it on her Facebook page and on some resale sites and different things. And so she needed access too for her work. And there were times when it was kind of, these were good times for her to be on it, or times that she wanted to be on it. And there were times for Kenna, when she was going to be on it. I'm an early riser. I get up good and early in the morning, so I could work on it first thing in the morning and get a good shot of it. But yeah, it was interesting that we had to schedule computer time. And it really made me start asking those questions about access. Because, there's a lot of, we ask our students a lot of time, how many of you have computers at home, right? And many of them raise their hand. But we don't ask that next question. How often can you use that? Do you have to share that with other people? How many other people are doing these things at the same time that you would need to be doing something on them? Does dad work at home? Mom, bring home work to do? Are there times when, they just like to have their time on the computer, their Facebook or their whatever they're doing? Dad has his fantasy football league he's running, and he needs the computer for that. Maybe there's 2 or 3 other brothers and sisters at the house, and they're kind of competing for time, on the computer. Or maybe even, there are multiple devices in the house, and we're kind of fighting for internet space, signal and Wi-Fi and whatever. So that's another issue to think about, that we, again, ask the question, but maybe we don't get a good full picture. So it really started making me kind of think about these things. I am blessed enough that I do teach in a district that's one-to-one. So all of my students have a laptop. They take home. All of our high school students take theirs home. So they all have access. I know that, maybe bandwidth is an issue in some houses. But they have a device and they can use, and they can be productive, during a lot of different times. I think that's important. But again, I don't know if I know the answer to this, is how to improve the access, but it is a question that we need to be asking. Is it a justification for one-to-one programs? I think obviously it is, but I don't know if it is the total answer. There are other things to be asking. How do we make sure that homes have enough internet space to use the devices that they have? Or are there other devices that would fit better with the family and the lifestyle and the homework and the different things that are going on? So there's a lot of questions. So, I just kind of pitched this out there to you guys to be thinking about, what does access really mean?